Today, we're diving into a law that really changed the game in India, a law that put a powerful tool right into the hands of ordinary citizens. We are, of course, talking about the Right to Information Act.
So, you see this emblem, right? India's national symbol. That motto at the bottom, Satyameva Jayate, means truth alone triumphs. And honestly, that simple idea, the power of truth, is exactly what the law we're talking about today is built on.
Okay, think about this. What if you could just ask the government for information, and they legally had to give you an answer? Sounds pretty powerful, right? Well, in India, that's not just a what if. Since 2005, it's been a fundamental right. And this is the core idea behind it. The very first words of the Right to Information Act, or RTI Act, say it all. Basically, for a democracy to actually work, the citizens have to be informed. It's about making sure the government is transparent and, keeping corruption in check. All right, let's get into it. We're calling this section a citizen's superpower. And look, that isn't really an exaggeration. We're going to see exactly why this law is such a game changer. Okay, so what does this right to know actually mean in practice? What can you ask for, and who exactly has to answer you? Let's break down some of the key terms. So the Act itself is super clear about this. It's not a suggestion, it's not a favor, it is a right. Every single citizen has the right to get information that's held by any public authority. Period. And you might be wondering, what counts as information? Well, the law defines it in a really, really broad way. It's basically any material in any form. We're talking records, documents, emails, opinions, reports, even things like data, physical samples, and models. If they have it, it counts. So who has to give you this information? Well, the law calls them public authorities. And that's a huge umbrella. It covers pretty much any government body you can think of, from the central government to your state government, all the way down to your local village council. If they're funded by the government, they're on the hook. All right, so you have the right, you know what you can ask for and who you can ask. Now for the most important part. How do you actually do it? The great thing is the process is designed to be super straightforward. You just have to write down your request. It can be in English, Hindi, or the local language. Be specific about what you need, and then submit it with a small fee to the department's public information officer. That's pretty much the whole shebang. And here's one of the most brilliant parts of the whole thing. You do not have to give a reason for why you're asking. Nobody can turn around and say, "Why do you need to know that?" Your right to know is reason enough. As soon as your application is in, a clock starts ticking. The official on the other end has a legal deadline. They have to get back to you within 30 days. But what if it's an emergency? What if the information is about someone's life or their freedom? In that case, the 30-day timeline gets thrown out the window. They have to respond in just 48 hours. Okay, so this sounds like you can ask for absolutely anything, right? Well, not quite. The right is huge for sure, but it's not absolute. There are some exceptions built into the law. This is where we get to Section 8 of the Act, which is super important. It lays out the specific things that are exempt from disclosure. It's all about finding that balance between transparency and protecting really sensitive stuff. And when you look at the list, it kind of makes sense. We're talking about things that could affect national security or relations with other countries. Confidential cabinet papers, trade secrets, and really importantly, anything that could put a person's life in danger. But here's the kicker, and this is so crucial. Even if something is technically exempt, the law says it can still be released if the public interest in knowing the truth outweighs the harm of releasing it. It's this amazing check and balance built right into the system. So what happens if they just ignore you? Or if they deny your request? Is that it? Game over? Nope, not even close. The law was written with the expectation that sometimes you'd be denied. So it has a built-in appeal process. It's like a ladder you can climb if you don't get a satisfactory answer. So step 1, you can file a first appeal to a more senior officer in that same department. If that doesn't work, you go to step 2. You file a second appeal with the Information Commission, which is a totally independent body that oversees this whole thing. And these information commissions are not messing around. They have the power to tell a government department, nope, you're wrong, release the information. And they can even penalize the specific officials who are causing the problem. Yeah, there are actual fines. An official who delays or wrongly denies information can be fined 250 rupees for every single day of the delay. that can add up to a maximum of 25,000 rupees. That's a pretty strong incentive to do your job, right?
So when you pull it all together, this isn't just some dusty law book. It's a real tool that people use every day. It's a mechanism that empowers every single person to ensure transparency and hold power accountable.
Ultimately, the Right to Information Act is more than just a law. It's a fundamental shift. It turns every citizen into a potential watchdog. So now that you know how it works, it really just leaves one question, doesn't it? What would you ask?